Good afternoon. Let me first thank you for being here with us on our 20th celebration. If we were to summarize what 20 years mean for GeneXus Consulting, I would say that it means many successful projects. And the protagonists are, you are the protagonists, you are customers together with us. So today I'm not going to talk about projects as we do every year. Today I'm going to talk about something else. I'm going to talk about success. All of us somehow want to be successful. This is something that takes most of our time. We wake up every day and we do certain things so that the organizations we work for become successful. In particular, I get up every morning and I do things so that these people, my own organizations, are successful. And in this willingness to make them successful, the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, what is success? And the second question, how do we get success? First, I wanted to give you a definition of the dictionary, but José Lamas, my tutor, did not allow me. He said, this is démodé, so I didn't look it up. So, regarding the second question, why or how are we going to obtain that success? So I produced a survey. I'm not sure. I cannot guarantee that this is rigorous, but the survey contained these two questions. What do you think are the most successful organizations or businesses, and why do you think they attained success? And see what I found. More or less, people agreed that these were the most successful companies. 70% of the answers responded that the organizations, the most successful organizations, are the ones you see here on the screen. And 50% said the first two. So their vision was quite common. Now going into the second question. The second question also focused more around these ideas. They provide value, they stay over time, they do it with quality. What they do well, and they are profitable. But these are just polls. Polls are good because they help you know what people think if they think like you do, but they're not so good to find out about what those who think differently think about. If we read the results of polls and surveys, we cannot follow those who are different. I couldn't see the details, so I'll tell you what happened to me in the case of different people. With reference to the first question, what are the most successful companies? In the different questions, in the different answers, they told me Wikipedia. This is different, basically, and I'm thinking why it's different, because it breaks down with certain rules. Some of us want to have everything under control. This company has nothing to do with control. And the second is because this company builds knowledge. So in this sense, we can find or discover that it is a little bit different. The second that was different to me was Y Combinator. I didn't know what it was, so I searched and I found the following. This is a company that builds companies. They find good ideas. They do incubation of the ideas for 3 months, and then they expose them to investors who decide whether to invest or not. Very different. The third, I never expected this to come up, the family. This somehow is probably the organization that has the highest turnover with more branches that builds or creates people. So it's quite different. I am proud to say that this answer came from my mother. She's sitting here in the room. And the last one, FIFA, the International Soccer Federation. Their billing is about $500 million a year or over that. You would say they sell entertainment, but then I discovered that this organization sells success, which is very different, and it's a good example for my presentation. None of us goes to a soccer match to have fun. We go because we want to win. If we win, we are happy. If we are defeated, we are not so happy. But the most different of them all is the following. This is a group of women that get together in a church to sew, to do mending jobs. And this is where his mother-in-law works. And this is a very successful group or enterprise. If you want to know anything else, ask Gustavo. So here we found some different things. Let's go to the second question. Why are they successful? And here we find some answers such as because they are courageous, because they are authentic, because they vibrate, because they bite the universe. Well, this really are very moving. This makes them really different. But one was the most different of them all, because they make money and something else, and because the most important thing is that something else. This is Daniel Davila, so ask him if you want to know what he meant by that. And this is different, no doubt. Now, if we analyze this from a different perspective, we find that 75% of the people used external qualifiers to rate these organizations, and 25% used internal qualifiers. And the external are a consequence of the internal. The better I do things internally in my organization, the better I will qualify externally. But in turn, we find that internal qualifiers are also made up of other internal qualifiers. In the poll, basically, these internal qualifiers were the following: leadership, strategy, motivation, commitment, management. For example, leadership, which is a quality, and we want to break it out. We will find that in leadership there is a kind of a tree. Leadership requires influence, generation of trust. Trust in turn requires capacity, values, authority, and good conversations, according to Daniel. So the second question, or the following question, is if we were to break this down further on, how far could we go? What are the atomic elements or core elements for success? And here I suggest that we move into a more real scenario, and let's move into the basic colors. In this range of colors we could say that there are only 3 basic colors that made up the rest. This is like magical, isn't it? Just 3 are part of all the rest. And if we go to substance and matter, all the things we see, all the things present in the world are composed by 118 basic elements. They are organized in a periodical table of elements, and any combination or formula constitutes some part of the universe. So trying to respond in this framework, what are the basic elements? I read a lot about what Robin Sharma writes. He talks a lot about basic elements, and in these 2 books he talks about basic elements relative to success. And he says that some basic elements are needed for success. These basic elements that I think she mentions 35. I said, well, to me, what are the most basic of the basic elements? What are the most relevant ones? What are the ones I like best? How would I build the success of my organizations with these elements? So I looked up 5. The first element I chose was this one. Getting to know yourself. In this element, in general, we find in many books that knowing yourself has to do with discovering your weaknesses and your skills, and weaknesses, strengths, opportunities and threats. If you get to know yourself, this has more to do with your purpose in life. It's more than getting to know your skills and weaknesses. I think in success that is built on a purpose more than success built on skills or weaknesses. There's one thing that's very clear to me. The purpose is the only father of motivation. We cannot be motivated unless we have a purpose. A boss will never motivate us. A team or a salary even cannot motivate us. They cannot motivate us. The only thing that moves us is a purpose. If go to the periodical table of elements, one element is comparable to purpose, and that is carbon. I would say that purpose is the carbon of the periodical table. Carbon is the only element that generates life. All organic substances contain carbon, and carbon defines life. And to me, a purpose defines life. The second element that I chose is passion. It's very difficult. When I try to define passion, it was hard for me. It's more or less like defining red. So I will ask for your help. Think about the person that you know with passion. Think about a person with passion. Now think about the organization that you know that has passion. That's passion. Passion cannot be defined. It can be only recognized. You can live it. You can enjoy it deeply. And passion is what somehow makes things happen. I like companies that are successful with passion. The third element is determination. All these basic elements are very difficult to define. They are so basic. But there is one definition that I like about determination, and it says there are 2 kinds of people. Those that use an alarm clock at 6 o'clock, and those who use the alarm clock at 6 o'clock and then get up. That's determination, in my opinion. Many people have studied what successful people did, and you would say that they should have many things in common. However, these authors found that there was only one commonality, which is as follows. I really salute those who are determined. And the first company that appeared in this poll, Google, knows a lot about determination. Google, in its trophies, has all these failures. And this tells me that Google has a lot of this basic element. It tells me that Google tries once, tries a second time, tries a third time, and again. Robin Sharma says, embrace your failures. And that part is a little difficult for me. It's too much for me. But it's true. I'm looking at my failures with more love now. I'm sure that there are two things that generate failure or difficulties. We always say that they generate opportunities, and I wonder what opportunities. I think two opportunities are generated by failures. One is the opportunity to stand up again, and the second is the opportunity to take control. And these two are basic elements, quite interesting in themselves. And if I had to define what is the most important element in the success of the projects by GeneXus Consulting, this is probably the most important element. These projects have difficulties, failures, and the only thing that makes the project move on is that we take control, we stand up, and we try once again, over and over again. And the fourth element that I chose is the team. I'm not going to talk a lot about what it means to work in a team, but I'm going to say something which is a little bit different, and it's the teams are not those inside the company. The teams go beyond the borders of the companies, and you can find them. You can find that other people are also part of a team. These are the clients. GeneXus Consulting has many projects, and they're not built just by us. We cannot do projects on our own. We are only capable of doing them with you. In GeneXus, the same happens. The results are not inside our tech. The results are outside in the community. The GeneXus team is the community. I like the success that is built with the help of teams and not individuals. And the fifth and last element that I have chosen are values. Values are many. It's very difficult to define them. You recognize them more than you define them. But it's clear to me that values are best friends with decisions. They accompany decisions. We never make mistakes if we do what is right. At home, in GeneXus Consulting, we always joke and tell jokes, and we say it's always easier to speak the truth. We always play and joke, but going beyond that, I know that this is part of the company culture, but this is always present in the decisions we make, and that's what makes them sustainable over time and strong over time. I like success that have this basic element. These are then the 5 basic elements that I have chosen: purpose, passion, determination. Discover your purpose, live it with passion, try once, a second time, another. The larger the dream, the more important is to have a good team, and you will never make mistakes if you do what is right. These are somehow my 5 basic elements, but I invite you to think differently. I invite you so that each of us builds his or her success with 5 basic elements that you can choose, those that make sense to you, because they are not only valid, in addition, they are necessary, and they make your life fun. I think that we have to stop focusing on results when we are after success. We should no longer focus on formulas to reach success. And I think we have to focus more on the basic elements, because we can do the best formulas. If we don't have basic elements, there's nothing we will be able to do. So, my last question is, how can I get to these 5 basic elements? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I have not the faintest idea. But I do know one thing, that you have to think differently. You have to break down with certain mindsets. That sometimes you may start contradictions. These elements are here, they are in each of us, but we have to build on them. It's not easy, but it's simple. You don't teach them, they are contagious. They are not magical, they are everyday, but they create some magic. Thank you.
Have the honor of asking Breogán to join us to open our commemorations. So Breogán, you have the floor. Well, it's never easy to speak after such a speech as the one Karina gave. At least not for me. I'm just a humble engineer who is the result of my dreams, and have become a researcher and a businessman. And I don't know what to say. So I will just tell you a story. And I really know about this. 23 years ago, we launched GeneXus into the market. Back then, we were a team, a very small team of developers, and we were happy by making this product. But we realized that now we had to live with it. And that's when Karina came up. A different kind of human being. And well, we were fortunate. So we started to learn many things by providing support to GeneXus. We learned from GeneXus, we learned from Karina, we learned from our customers, who are our partners. And little by little, that sort of support department that was made up of a single person became more and more important because our clients became more and more important. And when I see the growth of those initial times, and when I see that with today's perspective, those are one of the things that one might deem impossible, and however, they were successful. And they happened 20 years ago, maybe even more.
Le propusimos a Karina
We proposed Karina
hacer una empresa
to start a
de
company
servicios de informática.
for IT services, GeneXus Consulting.
Y ella desde luego se negó.
And of course she refused.
Y dijo, no,
And she said, no,
no tengo vocación de empresaria. Yo no
I
vibro por eso.
don't feel I'm an
O sea, yo les voy a
entrepreneur.
ayudar en lo que pueda.
That's not the fiber I am made of. I will help you as much as possible, but I won't be your partner there.
Tomó la decisión.
And she took her time with her decision. And finally, one day, she ended up accepting that.
Y esa pequeña organización
And that small organization
fue creciendo,
started growing,
creciendo con el éxito.
growing with
Creciendo
success.
con el éxito es bastante redundante.
But to say to grow with success is kind of redundant, because there are activities where success is
Hay
mandatory.
actividades donde
There
no
are
existe un
activities
segundo fracaso.
where there is no second failure.
Tenemos un fracaso.
Because if you have a failure, a first failure, no one else will believe in us.
Y esa es
And that is
actividad que GeneXus Consulting
the activity that GeneXus Consulting
emprendió.
started from the very
Y la
beginning.
configuración fue cambiando.
And
Pero de a poco
configuration changed gradually, but it turned into a partial or total outsourcing company with major critical mission projects that became more and more important and became larger and larger, with diverse geographies covering most of the world. And this is where we are right now,
20 años después.
20 years afterwards.
Muchos de ustedes conocen
Many
alguna
of you,
empresa
do you
que
know
se dedica
any
a
company
esa actividad
that does that
y se
that
mantenga
activity
exitosa y
and is
saludable
still
20
successful
años
and
después?
healthy 20 years afterwards? I don't.
Entonces,
So,
¿qué quiero decir?
what do I
¿Estoy
mean by
siempre de
this?
acuerdo con Karina? Claro que no.
Have I always agreed with Karina? Well, no, of course not.
Pero el éxito
But
ha
success
sido una constante.
has been permanent.
Para ser breve,
So, for the sake of brevity,
quiero es felicitar
I would like
a todo el equipo
to congratulate
GeneXus Consulting
all the GeneXus Consulting team, and very especially
que ha
Karina,
catalizado ese éxito.
who has been the catalyzer of that success. Thank you very much.
Hace 20 años comenzamos a escribir una historia.
20 years ago, we started to write a story, the world in evolution. We were witnessing transformations that now are affecting the lives of people and the way in which we relate with each other. Besides from being witnesses, we decided to be the protagonists of these transformations. In each new line of our history, we have a very special code that identified us and made us unique. We had a code of commitment to innovation and constant improvement in order to collaborate with building a better world. In every line we wrote, we transformed dreams into realities, thus turning what seemed impossible into something possible. Thus, we transformed the way in which thousands of patients and doctors access essential information for health, thus implementing the first system in Uruguay for the e-register of clinical histories. Then we couldn't imagine that we would be part of a major transformation in such an essential product in Uruguay, such as meat, thus creating the first cattle traceability system with national coverage. We also took part in essential processes for the country as one of the major examples of the transformation and modernization of the state in terms of courts being modernized. We also work together with a leading company of oils and lubes in Uruguay in logistics, thus strengthening its management and allowing the country to move on. We also transformed attention and social security, making everything more agile, thus improving quality and efficiency. We also had the opportunity for working for companies in different parts of the world who trusted us to implement critical mission systems. Nowadays, we continue to work in projects such as electronic invoices that will transform the way in every company reports to the state, thus simplifying and adding extra security. We want to help you to overcome boundaries in order to continue to transform your dreams into our dreams, to transform technology into results.
Breogán, baja un poquito todo, que está un poquito todo muy alto. ¿Escuchan bien ahí? This is candombe, esto es candombe. Un, dos, tres, cuatro. Nada más, seguimos. ¿Cómo estamos para hacer palmas? Eso. Vamos con el pasito. 1, 2, 3, pasito. Voy. Muchas gracias. Muchísimas gracias. Un, dos, tres, cuatro. Muchas gracias. Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, para quienes no son uruguayos, este ritmo es de aquí, de Uruguay, llamado candombe. Tambores chico, piano, repique, nuevamente chico, con una integración de grupo musical. Mi nombre es Tatita Márquez, esta música es la que compongo. Es música en el estilo de candombe jazz, entre comillas, o fusionado. Y vamos a dejarles algunas músicas más. Espero que les esté gustando. ¿Cómo están pasando? Espectacular. Bueno, muy bien. Vamos con un temita más. Vamos con Krishna. Krishna. 1, 2, 3, 4. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. ¿Tienen público brasilero aquí? ¿Hay público de Brasil? ¿Hay gente do Brasil? Três pessoas solamente. Muy bien, vamos a hacer una música entonces brasilera, o sea, en realidad un tema compuesto con este instrumento aquí que es el pandeiro. Yo viví en Brasil 2 años y estudié uno de mis instrumentos favoritos es este, el pandeiro. Entonces vamos a hacer un temita para ustedes, público brasilero y público uruguayo, etcétera. Papo, un aplauso para él. Leo. Vamos ahí. Eso mismo. Eso. Anda volando. Eso. Acá, el hombre. Leo. Vamos a escuchar a Leo. Muchas gracias, Papo, Juan Pablo, DJ Scratch y Leo Giovannini. Muchísimas gracias. Bueno, muy bien, muy bien. Bárbaro.
Very well. But as you saw, we had fun, we played, but I want us to enjoy, all of us. So it would be good. I already saw that you have musical skills. Besides from your activity, I guess that you're probably taking classes of music, I guess. So let's try to see what happens. What happens if I make this and we repeat this all together? I will count up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say pack. And let's see what happens with all of us together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. I'm leaving. Bye-bye. That was it. You did well. Sometimes if I breathe too strong, you will be listening to my breathing, but I really am not very skillful when using this microphone. So, let's now try to see what happens with 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Incredible. I will do something that might be more demanding. Group 1, Group 2 in the middle, and Group 3. Group 1 with 1, 2 with 2, and 3 with 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tack, tack, tack. Please be careful, don't get nervous. We have no Group 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Very well. I loved it. Let's now try once again. Great. Very well. Once again, group number 2 will have to have a round of applause in number 4. Then back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's difficult, right? It's easy, you can. We're all trusting you. And in group 2, I'll do it slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Great. Incredible.
Debe ser porque hay muchos extranjeros. No, mentira. En Uruguay somos
Do
muy
we have
buenos.
many foreigners? No. In Uruguay, we're very good because we have rhythms in Uruguay. So if this activity were done in another country without any
Se complicaría mucho.
African descent rhythms, it would be maybe complicated. I don't want to mention other countries because I don't want to hurt any other countries. No, it's a joke.
¿Cuántos argentinos hay? Levanten la mano.
How many of you are from Argentina? Pick up your hand. Great.
No, no, es un chiste que tenemos acá para...
It's a joke. It's a usual joke.
Va, voy a contar 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4, 1,
y pasan a hacer el 2 ustedes.
and then you are 2.
El 2
It's difficult. Group number 2 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. 1, 3, 4, 1, 2.
Muy bien, me equivoqué yo porque señalé cualquier cosa.
Very well. I was the one who was wrong.
1-0 Argentina.
1-0 Argentina.
Vamos de vuelta.
Let's go again.
Va,
I'm sorry.
está bueno porque yo me equivoco, entonces
It's good because I'm mistaken,
como estoy adelante de todo, me...
and since I'm here, everyone can laugh at me. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Espectacular. Bien.
Great.
Espectacular. Ahora vamos a probar
Great. Now,
qué sucede.
let's try to see what happens if this is a rhythm 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep that.
Ustedes tocan el 1, 2,
You play 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. Did you understand this? No.
está genial.
It's great.
Bueno, pensé que era...
Well,
Vamos más rápido, disculpen.
I thought that we could go somewhat faster, so I will go backwards. Oh my God. This is difficult, huh?
Daniel, ¿por qué no me avisaste que era así?
Daniel, why didn't you tell me that this would be so complicated? Well, this is like this. It will be a loop.
Hay que usar palabras mágicas.
We need to use magic words. Now that we understand, let's go with a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Yo tengo
Okay?
el loop acá. Aprieto el pedal.
I have the loop here.
Cuento 4, le aprieto el pedal.
Let's go up to 4, and then we go in loop. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mantengan eso ahí.
Let's keep that.
Esto ya está corriendo.
Now this is running.
Mantenemos ahí.
Let's keep it there.
Espectacular.
Great.
Me encantó.
I loved it. It's
Ahora
perfect.
prestamos mucha atención.
Now let's pay attention because
A no tocar
we will have to mute.
grupo 1.
Group 1, when I say so.
Mantener ese tiempo.
So we need to keep this as a silence. And group 2 needs to maintain number 2 and 4. Group 3 needs to continue with what it's doing.
Para que ustedes paren.
I'll count 4 so that you stop. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ustedes no tocan.
You don't play. You don't make any sound.
Ahora más difícil.
Now, more difficult. Group number 2 will only play in 2 and mute in 4. Please continue, otherwise we lose power. Group number 2, continue. Come on, come on. What happened? If you're starting to be stressed, then I'm going home. Because if this is too much, this is what you might be thinking right now. So since I see that you're doing very well, let's take a look at the screen. Since you're doing very well, we will give everyone an instrument so that each of you can play. And I will tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you an instrument and you're going to hand it over. There's an instrument that's coming over there, and there we have everything, and St. Nicholas, Santa Claus. And you will be distributing all the instruments so that everyone has one.
Yo de mientras toco un poquito el pandeiro. ¿Eh? ¿De dónde apoyo? Ahí me... Conseguí una lata para mí. Una lata. Sí. Una de arrancaron. Bueno, arrancaron los brillos. Bueno, muy bien. Santo tiene su instrumento. Bueno.
Well, now we will be receiving the music group called Bafo da Onza. Well, now please be silent. Very well. Let's see what happens with the cans if we say 1, 2, 3, 4 and then we make a sound all together. This is a musical instrument that was manufactured in the best paid factories of every country. Then we have a stick that is good for you playing the drums, and you will beat the middle part of the can in order to make this sound. I loved it. Let's go again at the sound of 4. And we will 1, 2, 3, 4. Just play when I say 1. That's a lady who loved it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Once again. Very well. Now let's do 1 and a second on the side where there's a softer sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just once on 2. But it was very good anyway. Number 2 is sort of complicated. I'm sorry. You have to make this movement with your hand. I didn't explain that. I'm sorry. There's already a bump here. 1 and 2. Now it's better. Now let's make this more difficult. 2 here and 3 up. We are not playing 1 and not 4. 1, 2, 3. You played anything, just whatever you wanted. I loved it. Please remain silent because we have another team. And they have this instrument. Oh, you would have liked to have this one. And now we're changing instruments. Well, I don't know whether you were told that you cannot take any pictures here. This instrument is somewhat complicated. Since you were the best group, we gave you this instrument. Why? Because it's harder to play, because you have to do this, just this. It's called Time Watch. Once, just once. This is what you have to do. The difficult thing in this instrument, and it's really difficult, it's not a joke, it's because you have to calculate that you go upwards and you will have to let it drop after all that. You need to be careful because there are 2 beats here. Let's see whether we can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're geniuses. This year, I have a music group for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So, for you, I have a job, and you will be in charge of playing like this. And you have to keep this. Great. Group number 1. Group number 1 will be playing movement number 1 and in movement 3. And you will play number 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Group number 1. Something else. Group number 1. The bottom of the can sounds different. And you, group number 2, you have to do this. It wasn't necessary for us to do this all again, but it was good, okay. Let's do this. Tung, and then tung.
1, 2, 3, 4 y lo mantenemos como loop, pero sin apurar. Y yo les voy a marcar a ustedes cuándo entrar con el... ¿Ok? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigan ahí sin apurar, mantenemos eso.
Keep that. Okay, I loved it. And now we'll do it like this. In this position.
Mantenemos eso, ¿tá? Perfecto. Mantenemos ahí sin apurar.
So let's keep that. And I will tell you variants of that. Tung tung.
Van a ser una vez 2 y una vez 1. Eso. Tum, tum, pa, tum. Ustedes van a pegar un poquito más fuerte. Rock and roll.
This is like rock and roll. Now I have to break this can.
Voy a contar 4.
And I will count 4, and we will all stop except for the middle team. You will keep on doing this. Then I will go up to 4 again, and we will start with the same loop. And I do this, and it's it.
Ahora se viene más difícil para ustedes. Eso. Sigan ahí.
Just this. Just this. You keep it there. The group from the middle. Start to come this way. Please, start coming up this way. In a very orderly way. Please come up. And you start going sideways. You keep it like this. You keep it like this. You keep it, and when I say 4, this group will stop at the count of 4.
Mantiene la velocidad, pero baja. Cuento 4 y se va este grupo, queda solamente las largas. 1, 2, 3, 4. Voy a contar 4 y vamos.
And now at the sound of 4, we're going to hit it in number 1. And you keep it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Lo voy a empezar a apurar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Voy a contar 4 y el grupo de medio va a parar.
And at the count of 4, the middle group will stop. You're very tired, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, Tatita. A round of applause. Very well. How are you doing? Are you having a good time? You know that teamwork is very important, and major achievements are obtained as a team. So all the parts were essential for this to work. Not just a middle group, not just group 1, group 3, but everyone working together as a team. Thank you very much. This is for you. And now the middle group goes back to its place. And now I will teach you the key of candombe. On the side of the tin. You do this on the side of the can. When I say 4, it stops. Now, let's play one last round with the band, and you're going to play with us. Okay? Please come up, guys. Let's hear it for them. So let me introduce them to you. Rodrigo, playing the bass. bass guitar. Then we have Jose Pepe Martinez, small drum. Enrique Paco Guzman on the keyboard. Leo Giovannini here. Santiago Mondolo guitar. Aníbal González piano, keyboard, and over there Juan Pablo Testa, who will be coming. Let's now play this music. Please remain silent now. You're already music graduates. I have a diploma for there waiting for you outside. So let's now play together. Let's begin with the key, and I will say when you have to hit it and when you have to remain silent, so you can listen to when we play. This is good because I have a translator. I don't know if you have to listen to something. I don't know if you're understanding the things that I'm saying, but this is being translated. Where are the translators? Everything is okay here. He said, okay, that's what she's saying right now.
Vamos con ella ahora.
attention because we have to stop when I say so. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me. It was a pleasure for all of us to be here in GeneXus 20 years. It's a lot. It's a lot for all of us in Uruguay and Latin America. Thank you for inviting us, and thank you, all of you.
Daniel, Karina, Marcela.
Los regalos.
Tienen que tocar algo ahora.
You have to sing. We're going to give you a token to mark this 20th anniversary. Okay, enough? This is on behalf of the team.
Bueno, viene bien, ¿eh? Éxito total. Grande, buen debut. Las flores. No sé.
Bueno, como yo no di charla, me toca.
Now it's my turn. I gave no presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I enjoy working with you every single day, and I'm going to cry any minute now. But it's a great pleasure to be part of this team, to be part of the GeneXus community as a whole. And I'm very proud for working with this company. I've been a part of GeneXus Consulting for the last 20 years. I've always worked here, so thank you. I thank all my colleagues for having recognized this. Thank you. As Veronica said, I agree with Marcela and Veronica, so thank you.
No me sale nada.
I can't, words don't come easy, so thank you, thank you. In 20 years, we have been putting a lot of energy into this effort. There are very many valuable people in the company, so I'm happy to see that you're having fun, that you're feeling well, that you want to play as a team.
Invitamos vamos a todo el equipo a sacar una foto. Todos.